Hey, what's up? Jake here with Wise Bear Creative.
And I'm Ryan with Rygo Labs and Wise Bear Creative as well.
Nice. Ryan's one of our trusted partners. Here at Wise Bear, we do things a little bit differently. If we don't have an in-house person that is an expert in what the services we're offering, we partner up with people like Ryan and Rygo Labs to make sure that we're offering an expert in that field. And Ryan is all things SEO and SEO strategist, but he's got a really diverse background in marketing. And today we want to talk about what is the difference between paid ads versus SEO. When should my business do one, the other, or both? So to start off, let's just define what these are. What is SEO, Ryan?
Yeah, so SEO is basically when you build your website, you have pages, and on those pages we have words. So when somebody is searching something on Google, in that search bar, we are targeting keywords, search terms, phrases, and questions that people might ask related to you, your service, your business, and then Google will show that organically and for free. And I always like to make the analogy that it's kind of like renting for ads, and then it's like investing for SEO. So every page we make, every blog we write, every question we answer, it's a potential entry point into your website. So if you think that you're producing like 3 articles a week or 1 article a month, every time we produce that, that's a new doorway into the website. It's something that somebody could search to find you. And that's probably the easiest way to look at it, whereas like paid ads, it's a bit more like renting.
Right. And I think like the best way that I've always described SEO is like SEO is how the Google gods rank your site and get you in front of their users' search intent. What are they searching for? We want to answer the question that they're searching for organically on your website through written copy. That's why it's called on-page SEO. And it's what Ryan is extremely good at, is capturing the competitors, the search trends, who and what are searching for what and where, and making sure that your website is not only has that written copy, but is also structured in the proper way. And we'll talk a little bit about structure later in the video. But paid ads, as Ryan said, is kind of like renting that keyword. So if you're a plumber in Grand Rapids, Michigan, people are going to look you up by saying best plumber in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And Google offers PPC, and there's other ad formats too, like on Meta, but you can actually target those keywords on Google and show up first. That's why on the top pages of Google, usually there's 3 or 4 that will say sponsored, like in a little grade light box or a lighter font. And that is where those people are paying for that top spot. Where again, organic is you're owning it, so you're in that top spot because your copy is so good that Google is ranking it as, you know, the authoritative figure in that industry. So again, paid ads work, and there's always a time and a place for paid ads. A new service that you're launching, a new business that you're launching, always a great opportunity to run paid ads to kind of get your name out there quickly and capture that search intent. And also, you know, pairing that with SEO, long-term SEO is always our first goal, right? We don't want to run paid ads if we're not also working on the SEO. And the reason is SEO takes time. You know, it takes time to build out these pages. It takes time for the Google gods to index them properly. It takes time to have that foundation and all these different things. It takes time to get that organic traffic, and you can subsidize that time with the paid ads. But no matter which direction you go, you've got to have the foundation of SEO. We really believe at Wise Bear SEO is the foundation of all the marketing that we do.
It does work like one big, beautiful ecosystem. And even down the line, if you are doing paid ads, you actually might outrank a competitor simply because Google sees you as the authority, you have a higher quality score, they're going to trust your content more, and they're all about relevance and helpfulness. So you're always thinking about that end person. What are they searching? How are you helping them? But I think for a lot of you out there, one of the biggest considerations is really the cost. And Google Ads can be incredibly expensive. It very much depends on how competitive it is, whether you're doing, you know, local. We had mentioned in this video, this is pertaining to Grand Rapids. So you could have some more opportunity to get costs down when you're getting a little more narrow with like keywords on both ends for paid or organic with the SEO, standing out with those local keywords. But back to the cost, SEO, it's always hands down cheaper. So a really good example I like to reference is I was working with this customer in Miami, and he was spending anywhere from $2,000 to $6,000 a month to basically pay for keywords to show up at the top of the page in search. And we started working together, and it took about a year and a half to get like the website built out, build that content, and get enough search terms targeted where he was ranking for anything that a customer could search. And I actually called him up about a month and a half ago, and we had the conversation, hey, I think you should turn off your Google ads. Let's just see what happens. And he was really nervous about it, like, oh, are my calls going to stop coming in? Are people going to stop finding me? And I twisted his arm a little bit, and he took my advice, and he shut his ads off. And he called me up recently, and there was zero change to his phone calls. The same amount of traffic was coming to his site. People were finding him organically.
And that's because, again, like, he wasn't just renting that space. You know, he was really owning, and he was the answer not only to the search users' questions, but to the Google gods' questions. So they were rewarding him, you know, based on the work. And as I mentioned, right, like, it does take time to get your SEO dialed in. But when your SEO is dialed in, everything works better. Your ads are going to convert faster. Your cost per click is going to be lower. Your brand trust increases tremendously. All these AI models, ChatGPTs, and all these other things are going to start recommending you because you're that authoritative figure, but only if you have that SEO completely dialed in. And I think, like, at the end of the day, right, SEO versus Google ads, if you have some momentum on your website already, if it's not a brand new product, if it's not a brand new website, SEO is like the way to go, because you can add strength by optimizing your on-page content. So lean into SEO, and then you can kind of dominate that particular keyword or that area, and you can hopefully get there before someone else does. You know, if your site is weak and there's not as much traffic organically already, if you're not kind of like, if you need that kind of more immediate visibility, that's when you can run ads, right? And I think if you start by building your SEO foundation at the same time and you're running ads, that way you're not stuck paying for ads forever. You're building the SEO foundation to own your space. You're renting it temporarily to own your space temporarily in those particular keywords. So, you know, if you want to know more about this stuff, Ryan and I could chat all day, but I think the big takeaway here is we do things a little bit differently at WiseBear. We always start with strategy. We always start with kind of your goals. Really want to understand you, your customer, and what you want to do. And one of the first steps is getting a free SEO audit, where we actually plug your website into our auditing softwares, as well as having Ryan skim your website to make sure that there's a human eye on it, to kind of figure out where those gaps are, what your competitors that are ranking above you are doing, and really analytically, where can we do some quick technical and analytical approaches to fix your website and start getting you ranking higher. We do this completely free. We give you a little 10-page PDF with action items that you can do yourself today to fix it. And then we're also open to talking and having that conversation about how Rygo Labs and WiseBear can help fix these things long term. So.
And one thing as well that I love about what we're doing is it's full transparency. So we're always telling you what we're doing and why we're doing it. And when I first got into marketing, I was always blown away at how confusing everything was. So we like to simplify things. It's more of a collaboration. We're talking with you, what your goals are. And then when we're executing, you're always going to know what we're doing. You're going to know why we're doing it, almost to the point where if you really wanted to, you could let us go in a year or two and do it yourself. You wouldn't, because it's an incredible amount of work and thinking, but you would have that level of information and understanding behind the process.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up. You know, transparency is really important at WiseBear. We operate everything at a very transparent level, dashboards for our clients to see what we're working on, see our strategy behind every piece of content that comes out. So we're not just doing it to doing it, we're doing it because there's a reason to do it.
Exactly.
And we want to educate you on the why, on why we're doing what we're doing at this particular moment. So if you have more questions about paid ad SEO, comment below, fill out one of our forums, or give us a call today, and WiseBear/Rygo Labs and the rest of the trusted partners here at WiseBear can help you take your brand out of hibernation.